Let's bring in Derek Maltz, former acting DEA administrator under President Trump. There's all this righteous indignation coming from Democrats about these strikes on these boats and who's actually on the boats and who's piloting them. You were the head of the Special Operations Division of the DEA for about a decade. Who are these people, and are they nice guys?
So, John, thanks for having me. They're ruthless and they're savages because they're killing at record levels. And I have no idea where these Democrats are getting that intelligence. But just talk to the families that are losing their kids at record levels throughout the country. And these drugs are poisonous. They're coming into the streets like we've never seen it. But, John, as you know, starting back with the assassination of Jaime Zapata and Victor Avalor, these actual terrorists have evolved into the biggest national security threat that this country faces every day, day to day. They are operating like an army, like a military. They have surface-to-air missiles. They have landmines. They have rocket-propelled grenades. They are shooting people. They are dismembering people. They are mutilating people. They use sophisticated drones, encrypted technologies. They are building up this threat to this country like we've never seen. And, by the way, they're working with other terrorists in Colombia, like the FARC, the ELN. They're working with Hezbollah. And, by the way, they are aligned with the Chinese Communist Party. This is a chemical war. So these Democrats that say there's no such thing as a narco-terrorist, go look at Project Cassandra and look what law enforcement in America did to expose the largest trade-based money laundering scheme with terrorists and drug traffickers.
I just thought it was interesting that 36 years ago, then Senator Biden called them narco-terrorists. You and I first met at the Special Operations Center just outside of Washington, D.C. in 2011. You showed me some photographs that you had that you put into a PowerPoint presentation about violence at the hands of the cartels. We only could pick about 4 of those pictures that we had to heavily edit that we could put up here. This is a pile of bodies of federal agents that were taken up by the cartels. There are other Mexican national agents who were killed by them as well. The violence in the communities, the severed heads, they're coolers full of severed heads in a pool of blood that we can't show. But this is the sort of thing that these guys do. And Congressman Crawford, who you saw there a moment ago, said the cartels make ISIS look like Boy Scouts.
So, John, let me make this really clear. Politics should never get ahead of public safety and national security. It's disgusting that a congressman that got elected by people in this country that would make that statement. What about the stew maker taking hundreds of people and throwing them in acid in the ground, and the poor families get nothing but bones back? This is the type of people that the cartels are working with every single day. These sicarios that are operating along the border, they're shooting people in the head, chopping off hands, chopping off legs. There's one picture that's floating around where they chopped off somebody's arm, stuck the arm in the mouth because they're trying to send these intimidating messages. They're kidnapping. They're doing assassinations. They run the country of Mexico, let's be honest, right? So much money is being made, all the corruption that's going on.
So, you know, the ranking member of the Intelligence Committee, Jim Hines, has been out there, and he seems to have some sympathy for the people who are in these boats running drugs to America. Listen to what he said here.
But what you need to do is you need to see 2 terrified men clinging to the wreckage of a ship. And these men are not, this is not Pablo Escobar out there on a boat. You know, these are guys that probably didn't have a lot of economic opportunity, made a terrible decision to participate in the drug trade.
So for comparison purposes, let's go back to the fight against the Taliban, the fight against ISIS, where the Obama administration was droning everybody in sight. In fact, he even said that he thought the program went a little bit too far. A lot of members of ISIS are people who didn't have any money. This was the way that they made money, but we didn't show them any mercy. And there were plenty of double tap attacks against them, where they went in, they hit one target, and then if there were survivors, they would go back and they would hit the targets the second time. So why all of the sympathy for Democrats about the drug runners, but there was no outcry from Democrats about what you just saw?
Well, they also let them operate with impunity from 21 to 24, letting all these ghost criminals into our country, so they're not too concerned about the security. But I can tell you, like, the cartels have evolved into this massive global network. They're making billions of dollars, and right now this is a huge threat to our country, and the Democrats need to get better intelligence because clearly they're not paying attention. It's disgusting, and the families are outraged when they hear this. By the way, when you go to war, which we're at right now, we're in chemical war, your adversary needs to be decimated. And that's what this president, that's what the Secretary of War plans to do. And they've been very direct. So if this guy's clinging to the boat, he shouldn't have got on the boat to move poison into America or anywhere in the world. And President Trump is not only saving Americans, but he's saving people in Europe, too, because the Europeans are addicted to cocaine and the illicit drug supply is tainted with fentanyl.
Derek, you spent, again, almost 10 years in special operations at the DEA under the Obama administration, under the Trump administration. If anybody knows what they're talking about when it comes to this, it's you. Thank you for joining us.